Some backyard upgrades sound like great investments when you're standing in the showroom or scrolling through Pinterest. But once the installation is finished, many homeowners discover they're paying for maintenance, repairs, replacement costs, or features they barely use. Today, we're looking at 10 backyard features that are no longer worth your money and what smart homeowners are choosing instead. Number 10. Oversized outdoor kitchens. The full outdoor kitchen became the dream backyard centerpiece over the last decade. Stone cabinetry, multiple appliances, enough counter space to cater a wedding. It photographed beautifully. It featured in every home renovation show, and it signaled that you were serious about outdoor living. For a few years, it was almost a status symbol on its own. Here's what homeowners are actually finding. Most of that kitchen never gets used. The side burner runs maybe twice a year. The built-in fridge holds drinks that could have stayed in the kitchen fridge 30 feet away. The pizza oven gets a flurry of use the first summer and then sits there looking expensive. By the second or third season, most of the cooking still happens on a single grill, and everything else sits idle as background decoration. The real cost isn't even the initial build. It's the upkeep. Stone countertops need resealing every couple of years to avoid staining. Built-in appliances exposed to weather fail faster than indoor ones and cost considerably more to replace. Since they're often specialty units, rather than standard models you can swap in from any appliance store, you're effectively maintaining a second kitchen, outdoors, exposed to the elements. For the privilege of grilling outside a few times a month, what smart homeowners are choosing instead? A quality freestanding grill on a simple cart, paired with a small prep counter or rolling cart nearby. You get 90% of the function for a fraction of the cost, and nothing is bolted down if your needs change. Takeaway: before building permanent outdoor kitchen infrastructure, track how often you actually cook outside for one full season. Most people are surprised by how rarely it is. Number 9. Large decorative fountains. A grand tiered fountain used to be the statement piece, the thing that announced you'd invested in your landscaping. Garden centers sold them as instant elegance. What actually happens? The pump needs regular cleaning, or it clogs with debris and stops circulating properly. The water needs treatment to stop algae and mosquito breeding, especially through warm summer months when standing water becomes an issue fast. In freezing climates, it needs to be drained and protected every single winter, or the basin cracks from ice expansion, which means an annual ritual of draining, covering, and storing pump components, or paying someone to do it. And in a yard of typical size, a large multi-tier fountain doesn't actually look elegant the way it did in the showroom. It looks oversized, dominating a space that needed balance, not a centerpiece competing with everything else for attention. The ongoing maintenance is the part that wears people down. It's not a one-time purchase. It's a recurring chore that competes with every other thing you'd rather be doing on a Saturday. What homeowners are choosing instead? Small, contained water features, a single basin, or a slim wall-mounted panel that deliver the sound of water without the maintenance commitment or the visual weight of a feature built for a much bigger property. Takeaway: scale the water feature to the seating area, not to how impressive it looks in a catalog. Smaller and well-maintained beats large and neglected every time. Number 8. KOI ponds. Koi ponds promised a tranquil, almost meditative backyard feature. Colorful fish, a natural-looking pond, the sound of a small waterfall. The honest version: koi ponds are a part-time job. Water quality has to be tested and managed constantly. Filters need cleaning. Fish get sick, and a sick koi can mean a vet bill that surprises people who thought they were buying a garden feature, not a pet. Herons and raccoons find koi ponds with startling efficiency, which means netting, fencing, or losing fish. And in cold climates, the pond needs a de-icer or heater running through winter just to keep the fish alive. It's a beautiful feature when someone is genuinely passionate about it. For most homeowners who installed one because it looked peaceful in a magazine, it becomes one more system that needs constant attention. What homeowners are choosing instead: a simple ornamental pond with aquatic plants and no fish, or a recirculating water bowl that gives the same calming sound without any livestock to manage. Takeaway: Only install a koi pond if you genuinely want the hobby of fish keeping. If you just want the sound of water, there are far simpler ways to get it. Number 7. Massive fire tables. The large built-in fire table became a must-have backyard centerpiece, the kind that takes up a third of the patio and anchors every outdoor furniture arrangement around it. The issue is proportion. In a typical residential backyard, a massive fire feature eats the floor space that would otherwise hold seating, leaving people huddled around the edges rather than comfortably spread out. It also locks you into one fixed layout permanently. You can't rearrange the patio without basically renovating. There's a cost dimension too. Built-in gas fire tables require a dedicated gas line in many cases, ongoing fuel costs, and occasional component replacement as igniters and burners wear out from weather exposure. What homeowners are choosing instead? A quality portable fire pit, sized appropriately for the actual patio, that can be moved, stored for winter, or swapped out entirely if preferences change. Takeaway: size the fire feature to about a quarter of your usable patio space, not the centerpiece that dictates everything else. Flexibility is worth more than permanence here. Number 6. Cheap artificial turf. Artificial turf got pitched as the answer to mowing, watering, and dead patches forever. No more weekend mowing, no more brown spots in August, just permanent green. The problem is the budget versions, which is what most homeowners actually installed. Cheap turf gets hot enough to be genuinely uncomfortable to walk on barefoot in summer. The seams separate over a few years, the color fades unevenly, and once it does, you're looking at full replacement rather than a quick fix. You can't just reseed a patch like you can with grass. There's also a durability problem nobody mentions at the sales pitch. Dogs, kids, and patio furniture all compress the fibers permanently in high-traffic spots. And unlike grass, turf doesn't bounce back. What homeowners are choosing instead: low-maintenance natural ground covers and grass varieties bred specifically for drought tolerance, or simply accepting a smaller, well-maintained real lawn instead of turfing the whole yard. Takeaway: if turf still makes sense for your situation, spend on a quality product with proper drainage and infill. The cheap version costs more in replacement than the good version costs up front. Number 5. Builder-grade pergolas. Most builder-grade versions, though, are mostly decorative. The slats are spaced too far apart to provide real shade, which is the entire point of having one. Vinyl versions yellow and look cheap within a few seasons. Wood versions need annual staining, or they gray out and start to rot at the joints. And because they're a permanent structure, removing one that you're unhappy with is a genuine project, not a quick fix. It's a structure that costs real money, requires ongoing upkeep, and frequently fails at its one job: blocking the sun. What homeowners are choosing instead? Shade sails, which provide actual usable shade at a fraction of the cost. Install in an afternoon and can be taken down and stored each winter. For those who want something more permanent, a well-built pergola with proper slat spacing, designed for function, not just looks, actually delivers shade. Takeaway: before buying any pergola, ask how much actual shade it casts at midday. If the answer is not much, you're paying for the silhouette, not the function. Quick question: which of these backyard features surprised you most? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to make smarter decisions about your own backyard, check out the Smart Homeowners Garden Guide. It covers costly mistakes to avoid, backyard upgrade ideas, budget-friendly improvements, and the design principles that make a home look more expensive without overspending. The link is in the description below. Now let's get back to the list. Number 4. Decorative gravel covering. Entire yards. Full yard gravel conversions were sold hard as the ultimate low-maintenance landscaping solution. No mowing, no watering, done in a weekend. The reality, several years in, is different. Weeds find their way through landscape fabric eventually, through gaps, through the edges, through tears that develop over time. And pulling weeds out of gravel is genuinely harder than pulling them out of soil, since the roots tangle through stone rather than loose earth. Leaves and debris settle into the texture and are difficult to clean out. You can't just rake gravel the way you rake a lawn. and a leaf blower only does so much before debris works its way down between the stones permanently. It also absorbs and radiates heat, making a gravel yard noticeably hotter to be in during summer than a lawn would be, sometimes uncomfortably so near a south-facing wall. And replacing or topping it up as it settles, compacts, and migrates onto adjacent paving or lawn is an ongoing cost most people don't anticipate when they're sold on the install once, done forever pitch. What started as the no maintenance option turns into a different kind of maintenance, just one nobody budgeted time or money for. What homeowners are choosing instead: gravel used intentionally in smaller, defined zones, a seating area, a path, a planting bed, balanced with lawn or ground cover plants that handle organic debris more gracefully. Takeaway: gravel works best as an accent material, not a wall-to-wall solution. If you're covering the whole yard, you're trading one maintenance problem for another. Number 3. Expensive outdoor televisions. The outdoor television promised the ultimate backyard entertainment upgrade. Watch the game, stream a movie, all from the patio. What tends to happen: outdoor-rated TVs cost significantly more than an equivalent indoor model, and even the weatherproof ones have a shorter lifespan exposed to humidity and temperature swings. Direct sunlight makes most screens hard to see during the day, regardless of brightness rating, so it ends up only usable in the evening anyway. And the actual usage pattern for most households is occasional, a handful of times a season, which makes the cost per use very high for something covered up and ignored most of the year. It's a feature that sounds great in the planning phase and quietly becomes a covered shape on the patio wall. What homeowners are choosing instead: a portable projector and a simple screen, or even a blank wall, set up for the occasional movie night and packed away the rest of the time. Lower cost, no weather exposure risk, and no permanent installation taking up wall space. Takeaway: if you're genuinely watching outdoor TV multiple times a week, the investment might make sense. For occasional use, a projector delivers the same experience for far less money and zero weather risk. Number 2. Cheap solar landscape lighting. A box of solar path lights felt like an easy win. No wiring, no electrician, just push them into the ground and walk away. Homeowners bought them by the dozen, lining entire paths and borders for almost no upfront cost. Here's the part nobody mentions at checkout: most cheap solar fixtures stop performing well within a season or two. The batteries fade faster than advertised, so lights that once stayed on all night start switching off by 10 o'clock, then 9, then barely turning on at all. Brightness becomes wildly inconsistent. Some fixtures along the same path glow steadily, while others next to them are barely visible because cheap solar panels charge unevenly, depending on the smallest amount of shade or dust on the lens. The plastic housings themselves are thin enough to crack in a hard frost, or simply yellow and go brittle after a summer of direct sun. And because they're sold in bulk packs, when they don't fail one at a time. They fail in waves, leaving you with a path that's half-lit and visibly patchy. The real frustration is the math. A dozen lights that cost very little individually still add up, and replacing all of them every couple of years quietly costs more over time than most homeowners realize, for a result that rarely looked great in the first place. What homeowners are choosing instead: fewer, higher quality fixtures, rather than dozens of cheap ones. Sometimes as few as 4 or 5 well-placed lights instead of 20 scattered ones. Many are switching to low-voltage wired lighting for key areas like a main path or a patio, which delivers consistent, reliable brightness without relying on a battery and a sun-dependent panel. Where solar still makes sense: a remote corner with no easy power access. Spending more on a single well-built fixture beats buying 10 disposable ones. Takeaway: buy lighting the way you'd buy anything else meant to last outdoors. Fewer, better units in the right spots, not a bulk pack that looks impressive in the box and disappointing within a year. Number 1. Overbuilt privacy structures. This is number 1 because it's the feature where the regret runs deepest. Homeowners spend thousands of dollars expecting privacy, expecting a backyard that finally feels like their own private retreat. And the finished result often does the opposite. The yard feels smaller. It feels less usable. It feels less inviting to actually spend time in than it did before the wall went up. That gap between what was promised and what got delivered is what makes this the most disappointing entry on this entire list. Tall, solid privacy walls and oversized fencing structures got built with good intentions. More privacy seemed like it could only be a good thing. But a massive, solid structure does more than block the neighbor's view. It blocks light, restricts airflow, and in a yard of average size, it makes the whole space feel enclosed and smaller, rather than private and comfortable. There's a real difference between privacy and confinement, and overbuilt structures land on the wrong side of that line more often than homeowners expect once it's finished and they're standing in the shadow of it. The cost compounds the problem. Large, solid structures require substantial material and labor, plus the structural footings needed to keep something that tall standing up safely in wind. It's a significant spend that often makes the yard feel worse to actually spend time in. What homeowners are choosing instead: layered planting screens, a mix of tall grasses, shrubs, and a simple trellis with climbing plants that block sightlines effectively while letting light and air move through. Privacy without the boxed-in feeling and at a fraction of the material cost. Takeaway: before building a tall, solid structure, test the sightline with something temporary first, a row of potted plants or a simple screen. You may find you need far less height and far less wall than you assumed. The best backyards aren't necessarily the most expensive ones. They're the ones homeowners actually use. Every feature on this list started out as a good idea. The problem was usually scale, maintenance, or simply outgrowing the trend that sold it in the first place. Which of these would you never spend money on again? Let me know in the comments. And if you want help making smarter calls on your next backyard project, grab a copy of the Smart Homeowners Garden Guide. The link is in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.